The invitation to my sister Victoria's wedding sat on my desk like an elegantly wrapped insult. Black tie required, minimum gift value $500, was embossed in gold beneath the RSVP details. It was exactly the kind of ostentatious display Victoria loved. All show, no substance. I ran my fingers over the expensive paper, thinking about the conversation we'd had last week at our parents' house. "Listen, Emma," Victoria had said, her voice dripping with fake concern. "I know things have been difficult for you since you left the family business, but this wedding is going to be featured in Modern Bride, and James's family is very particular about appearances." James Parker, her fiancé, was a rising executive at Meridian Technologies. Or at least that's what Victoria thought. What she didn't know was that I'd acquired Meridian 3 months ago through my investment firm, Aurora Capital. Not that anyone in my family knew I owned one of the largest tech investment companies in the country. "I understand," I'd replied quietly, watching her fidget with her massive engagement ring. "So maybe..." She'd hesitated, perfectly manicured nails tapping against her wine glass. "Maybe it's best if you don't come. I mean, what would you even wear? And the gift requirements." Our mother, sitting nearby and pretending not to listen, had winced but said nothing. She'd perfected the art of staying silent when Victoria showed her true colors. Now, sitting in my private office on the top floor of Aurora Tower, I looked at the latest acquisition reports from Meridian. James had no idea that tomorrow's routine meeting with the CEO was actually with me. He'd never met the elusive E.J. Morgan who'd bought the company. I preferred to work through intermediaries, keeping my identity hidden behind carefully constructed corporate veils. My phone buzzed, a text from Victoria. "About the wedding? I'm serious, Emma. No discount store dresses or cheap gifts. Better to just skip it." I set the phone down and turned to the window, looking out over the city skyline. 3 of the buildings I could see belonged to my portfolio companies. Not bad for someone Victoria considered too poor to attend her wedding. "Miss Morgan." My assistant Michael appeared at the door. "Mr. Parker has arrived for his pre-meeting. He's in the small conference room." "Thank you, Michael." "And Victoria's wedding planner called to confirm your anonymous donation. The $100,000 covers all remaining expenses, but as requested, they think it's from James's family." I smiled, thinking of Victoria's reaction when she learned her perfect wedding was being funded by the sister she deemed too poor to attend. But that would come later. "Miss Morgan." Michael hesitated. "Are you sure you want to do the reveal this way? At the rehearsal dinner?" I stood up, straightening my Chanel suit. Not that my family would recognize the subtle elegance of true luxury. They preferred obvious brands and flashy labels. "Victoria spent our entire lives making sure everyone knew she was the successful sister," I said quietly. "Tomorrow she'll learn what success really looks like." The small conference room was designed to intimidate. All glass and chrome and spectacular city views. James Parker sat nervously at the table reviewing his notes. He'd been trying to arrange this meeting for weeks, hoping to impress his mysterious new suit. "Mr. Parker," I said from the doorway, watching as he jumped to his feet. "Thank you for coming in early." "Of course, I'm sorry, I don't actually know the CEO's name. They're quite private." "Indeed they are," I agreed, taking a seat. "Tell me, how's the wedding planning going?" He blinked, surprised by the personal question. Very well. My fiancé has excellent taste. Though," he laughed nervously, "between us, I'm a bit worried about the cost. She has very high expectations." "And her sister?" I asked casually. "I understand she's not invited?" James shifted uncomfortably. "Victoria feels. That is, her sister's situation. It's complicated." "Life often is," I murmured, opening a folder. "Now about your position at Meridian. Your performance reviews are interesting." For the next hour, I led him through a detailed discussion of his work, watching him grow increasingly uncomfortable as it became clear how much I knew about his tendency to take credit for others' innovations. "One more thing," I said as he stood to leave. "The rehearsal dinner tomorrow night. I'll be attending." "I'm sorry." He looked confused. "It's family only." "Oh, I think you'll find I qualify." I smiled. After all, I'm the sister Victoria thinks is too poor to attend her wedding. The color drained from his face as understanding dawned. "Here, Emma? You're E.J. Morgan." "Indeed," I confirmed, enjoying his shock. But let's keep that our little secret until tomorrow night. I so hate to steal focus from the bride before her big day. As he stumbled out of the conference room, I turned back to the window. Victoria had always loved being the center of attention, crafting her perfect life story for everyone to admire. Tomorrow night, at her carefully choreographed rehearsal dinner, she'd learn that some stories have surprise endings. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Victoria. I've told everyone you're working abroad and couldn't make it. It's better this way. No one needs to know about your situation. I took a deep breath, thinking about the next 24 hours. Victoria had spent years building her image as the successful sister, while I quietly built an actual empire. Tomorrow she'd learn the difference. Sometimes the best revenge isn't proving someone wrong. It's waiting for the perfect moment to prove yourself right. The St. Regis Hotel's grand ballroom was transformed for Victoria's rehearsal dinner, dripping with crystal chandeliers and white orchids. I arrived deliberately late, wearing a simple black Valentino dress that probably cost more than the entire decorating budget. Not that Victoria would recognize true luxury. She preferred things that screamed their price tags. From my position near the entrance, I could see James at the bar, downing his second scotch in 20 minutes. He kept glancing nervously at the door, his perfect corporate facade cracking slightly. Victoria, holding court among her bridesmaids, hadn't noticed her fiancé's distress. "I'm sorry, miss." A wedding planner approached me with a clipboard. "This is a private event." "Emma Morgan," I said quietly, "though I believe I'm listed under uninvited sister." Her eyes widened in recognition. Not of my name on the guest list, but of my face from the business magazines she'd probably seen. Before she could speak, Victoria spotted me. "What are you doing here?" she hissed, rushing over. "I specifically told you." "Hello, Victoria," I interrupted calmly. "Lovely venue. The orchids are a nice touch, though perhaps a bit obvious for a winter wedding." She flushed, probably remembering how she'd mocked my suggestion of using rare winter blooms instead. "You need to leave. This dinner is for successful people, not." She gestured vaguely at me. "Whatever it is you do." "Victoria," our mother appeared, looking uncomfortable. "Surely we can." "No, Mom," Victoria cut her off. "I will not have my perfect evening ruined by." She paused as James appeared beside her, his face pale. "Darling, tell security to escort my sister out." James tugged at his collar, loosening his tie slightly. "Actually, Victoria, about that, there's something you should know." "Mr. Parker," I said smoothly, enjoying his discomfort. "How was your meeting with the CEO yesterday?" The color drained from his face completely. Victoria looked between us, confusion replacing anger. "What CEO? James, what is she talking about?" Just then Michael appeared at my side. "Ms. Morgan, I have those documents you requested about the Meridian acquisition." "Morgan?" Victoria's voice rose slightly. "Your last name is Stewart." "Actually," I smiled, taking the folders from Michael, "I changed it legally when I started Aurora Capital. E.J. Morgan sounds better in boardrooms than Emma Stewart." The silence that followed was delicious. Victoria's perfect makeup couldn't hide her growing shock. Our mother's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. "Aurora Capital?" she whispered. "The investment firm that bought Meridian Technologies?" "Among other companies," I confirmed. "James has been trying to meet with his mysterious CEO for weeks. We had quite an interesting chat yesterday." Victoria turned to James, her voice shrill. "What is she talking about?" "Your sister," he said weakly, "is my boss. She owns Meridian. She's E.J. Morgan." The wedding planner, who had been hovering nearby, suddenly looked like she might faint. After all, E.J. Morgan was the anonymous donor who had saved the wedding when Victoria's budget spiraled out of control. "That's impossible," Victoria stammered. "Emma runs some tiny online business. She can barely afford rent." "Actually," I opened one of the folders, "I own this hotel, and the building where Meridian's headquarters is located, and about 30 other properties through Aurora Capital. That tiny online business was just a cover." Our father chose that moment to join the group, his face darkening as he realized who I was. "You've been lying to us? All these years?" "No," I corrected him. "I simply let you believe what you wanted to believe." Just like you let Victoria treat me like a failure because it made her feel better about herself. The ballroom had gone quiet, guests sensing the drama unfolding. Victoria's perfect rehearsal dinner was quickly becoming the kind of event people would gossip about for years. The wedding, Victoria suddenly gasped. The anonymous donor who covered the extra expenses. That was you? I smiled, remembering her excitement when the wedding planner announced that James's family had secretly paid for everything. Consider it my gift to you, sister dear. Though I'm surprised. I thought you didn't want any charity from poor relatives. James looked like he might be sick. After all, he'd spent months pretending his family was covering wedding costs he couldn't afford, never knowing the money came from the CEO he was trying to impress. Why? Victoria whispered, tears threatening to ruin her expensive makeup. Why reveal this now? I stepped closer, keeping my voice low. Because you needed to learn that success isn't about appearances. It's about building something real. Something that lasts. While you were busy playing the perfect socialite, I was creating an empire. Our mother touched my arm hesitantly. But all those family dinners when Victoria mocked your work. I let her, I said simply. Because every time she underestimated me, it reminded me why I chose to build something quietly, without the need for constant validation. The wedding planner appeared again, clutching her tablet. Ms. Morgan, about tomorrow's ceremony. Everything will proceed as planned, I assured her. My sister's wedding will be exactly as she dreamed, though perhaps with a slight adjustment to the seating chart. Victoria's face crumpled slightly. You're still coming? Of course, I smiled. After all, what kind of CEO would I be if I missed my employee's wedding? The morning of Victoria's wedding dawned crisp and clear, perfect for the winter wonderland theme she'd chosen. I sat in my private office at the St. Regis, reviewing the final guest list while the chaos of wedding preparations echoed through the halls. A knock at my door interrupted my thoughts. Come in, I called, already knowing who it would be. Victoria entered, still in her preparation robe, her perfect composure finally cracked. We need to talk. I gestured to the chair across from my desk, noting how different she looked from the sister who'd banned me from her wedding just days ago. Amazing what a little perspective could do. The anonymous donations, she started, her voice small. The venue upgrades, the premium flowers, the last-minute additions. You paid for everything? Yes, I confirmed, pulling out a folder. Would you like to see the receipts? I know how much you love verifying people's financial status. She flinched at the reminder of her own words. I deserve that. I don't understand. After everything I said, everything I did, why help make my wedding perfect? I stood and walked to the window, looking out at the city I'd quietly conquered while she was busy playing society princess. Because you're still my sister, Victoria. And sometimes success means being big enough to rise above petty revenge. But it wasn't just the wedding, was it? She pressed. James's promotion last month, the bonus that helped with the down payment on our house. All approved by his mysterious Sue, I confirmed. Though I should mention, those were based on his actual merit, not his connection to you. When he's not trying to impress people, James is quite talented. Tears started rolling down her cheeks, threatening to ruin her pre-makeup preparations. All these years I thought I was the successful one, the one who had everything figured out. But you built an empire while I was just playing pretend. The difference, I said quietly, is that I never needed everyone to know I was successful. You spent so much time cultivating the appearance of success that you forgot to build something real. A commotion outside drew our attention. Our parents had arrived. Through the open door, I could hear our mother directing florists while our father complained about the cost of everything, not knowing his struggling daughter had paid for it all. They don't know, do they? Victoria asked. About Aurora Capital, about who you really are? They'll find out today, I replied. I think it's time for the whole family to understand that success doesn't always wear designer labels and demand attention. Victoria stood, smoothing her robe with trembling hands. The seating arrangement. Where will you be? I smiled, remembering her original plan to hide me away if I dared to show up. Don't worry, sister dear. I'll be at the family table, right where the CEO of the company that employs half the wedding party should be. She turned to leave, then paused. Emma, I'm sorry. Not just for the wedding but for everything. All the years I spent looking down on you, mocking your choices. I know, I said simply. Now go finish getting ready. You have a wedding to star in. After she left, I opened my laptop to check the latest Aurora Capital acquisitions. The merger documents for another tech company, one owned by Victoria's maid of honor, who'd been particularly vocal about my embarrassing poverty, were ready for Monday morning. The wedding itself was exactly the fairy tale Victoria had dreamed of. The ballroom transformed into a crystal-draped winter wonderland, every detail perfect, every moment choreographed. But there was a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The society guests who'd been prepared to whisper about the poor sister instead found themselves sharing space with one of the most powerful CEOs in the city. The bridesmaids who'd followed Victoria's lead in excluding me now realized they were networking with someone who could make or break their careers. During the reception, I watched Victoria and James share their first dance. They moved differently now, the desperate need to prove their status replaced by something more genuine. Amazing how humility could improve one's posture. Our parents approached my table, both still processing the revelation of who their failing daughter had become. All this time, our mother began, tears in her eyes. You thought what you wanted to think, I finished for her. You saw what you expected to see. But why keep it secret? Our father demanded. Why let us believe you were struggling? I took a sip of champagne, the premium vintage I'd upgraded to without Victoria's knowledge. Because you needed to learn that your definition of success wasn't the only one that mattered. Later that night, as the celebration wound down, I found Victoria alone on the terrace. She'd changed out of her massive wedding gown into a simpler dress for the after-party. Thank you, she said quietly, looking out over the city lights. Not just for the wedding, but for teaching me what real success looks like. I joined her at the railing. Keep that lesson in mind when you return from your honeymoon. James's position at Meridian will be what he makes of it. No more, no less. She nodded, understanding the subtle warning. And us? Where do we go from here? That depends, I replied. Are you ready to be the sister of E.J. Morgan, rather than trying to be the successful sister everyone envies? A small smile crossed her face. Genuine this time, not the practiced society smile she usually wore. I think I'm ready to be Victoria, getting to know her sister Emma for who she really is.